Hey, this is Bradley Bennett with Semantic Links, and this is a quick video about why relevance matters and how it really matters now with AI and language models, and a lot more consumers going to AI, their favorite AI model, to start their search process. Really, consumer behavior has shifted a lot lately because of AI and large language models, and so what most consumers are doing, and there's been a lot of surveys about this in recent months. A lot of consumers are going to AI, their favorite AI model, whatever it is, and asking for recommendations for, the best whatever in their area, right? Whether it's a product or a service. And then whenever AI returns whatever it suggests, then the consumer goes to Google and then searches for each of those brand names by doing a brand search. And so it's critically important to understand, why relevance matters, especially now, more so now than ever. And that is, there's really two types of relevance that we should be pushing whenever we're doing link building or, any sort of off-page work when it comes to the web projects that we work on. Okay, so for any of our clients, we should really be pushing two types of relevance: topical relevance to influence organic search performance as well as AI search performance, and then geographic relevance or local relevance to kind of push maps ranking performance. So let's face it, the vast majority of leads that are going to come through local search are going to come through the Google Maps pack. It's not going to come through organic search. So, optimizing for organic search in Google doesn't really make a lot of sense for local type campaigns or businesses that serve their local market, because it's very rare for any leads to be generated from organic search section anymore because of how far down you have to go to get to the first non-paid organic listing. Okay. And that is, below the fold now, because there's local service ads at the top for most industries. And then there's regular search ads. Then there's the Maps pack, which is called Local Finder, which actually sometimes will have as many as 2 different ads in it now. So it used to always be a 3-pack, and now sometimes it's as much as a 5-pack because the first 2 listings will be paid ads. So the point that I'm trying to make is it's very rare for consumers to actually scroll past all of that and go to the organic section of the search results to then select a potential company to contact, right? So the vast majority of leads are going to come through the Maps search, or the Maps pack, excuse me. And because of the way consumer search behavior has shifted from going straight to Google, many consumers are now going to AI first, ChatGPT, Gemini, whatever is their favorite, and asking for, who's the best, web design company in the San Francisco Bay Area, as an example, right? And then whatever the AI search returns, or the mentions, right, the citations, whatever the AI model cites as the best sources for, in this case, web design in San Francisco Bay Area, then the consumer will then go to Google search and search for each one of those brand names to do a brand search, essentially, and see what are others saying about that company, what are the reviews, all that kind of stuff. And so it's important to understand that we need to be optimizing both for topical relevance and geographic relevance because of how AI search has kind of consumer behavior has evolved to start with AI search. So topically relevant links and pushing topical relevance can help to influence how the campaign performs in AI search. Okay. And so it's critically important. If it weren't for AI, I would say we should just be optimizing for map search as it relates to local SEO campaigns. But because of AI now, it's critically important that we also optimize for organic search because it influences AI search performance. So with that said, you can see that I've just got this brief diagram here that I want to kind of explain. Topical relevance influences organic search and AI search mostly. Geographic relevance influence is maps ranking, or maps ranking performance. So what is a geographic link? Excuse me. Well, that would be like, for example, if one of your clients joins their local chamber of commerce and they get into the chamber member directory and they get a link back from that directory site, that link has geographic significance because Google understands that link is coming from another local association, organization, institution, etc. So that's one way. And there's some a number of ways that you can secure locally relevant links, or geographic links as I call them, for clients. And that would be again, local chamber of commerce, doing link exchanges with other vendors or businesses in the same general physical area. I'm sponsoring Little League teams, parks and recs, charities, churches, schools, things like that in the local area, and then getting a link back from those sites. All of those are fantastic ways to improve maps ranking performance. However, it's very difficult to scale, right? It's hard to do all the outreach on a client's behalf to secure link exchanges and all of that through local resources. And good luck trying to get your client to help with link building. Ask me how I know. I've tried. It's very difficult. And so we have to figure out a way to be able to build links with geographic relevance that at scale, okay, so that we can provide that as a service for clients, right? And so we've developed a way to do that. And so I kind of want to explain what I'm talking about here. But why do I know that these links are valuable? Well, because we do the competitive link analysis reports, which is, here's an example of one, which you should already be familiar with our competitive link analysis report process, because I've sent in this series a email with kind of a very thorough explanation of how we generate these reports, how we interpret them, and how we use that data to inform our decisions about what the campaign needs. So I'm not going to rehash that now. But what we do in the competitive link analysis reports is we're actually analyzing the top-ranked organic competitors, not maps. And there's a reason for that, because as I was showing you in this diagram here, it's topically relevant links influence organic search performance and only has a very slight influence on maps ranking performance. On the other hand, geographic links has mostly influences maps ranking or GBP ranking performance, and has just a very slight influence on organic ranking performance. And so if we go look at the competitive link analysis reports, what we're analyzing here are the top-ranked organic listings. In other words, the top-ranked competitors in organic search, not map search, okay? And so why we do that is because we analyze these and have been now for almost 4 years. We've been doing these competitive link analysis reports. And for the first 8 months that I was running Semantic Links, we were just focusing on topically relevant links. And there's a reason for that. And that's because I was analyzing the top 5 ranked competitors for both organic search and also in map search. And I couldn't determine any rhyme or reason as to why, from a backlink perspective, the competitors were ranking at the top of maps. But I could very easily determine that from what was causing the competitors to rank, or the top ranking websites or web pages, I should say, in organic search. And that is because when analyzing the top ranked competitors or top ranked web pages for a particular keyword and looking at the organic results, the vast majority of the times, the best ranked, the top ranked pages had relevant link profiles as far as topical relevance. And remember, we use Majestic as our backlink analysis application so that we can identify what are the topical relevance of the backlink profile. Okay, so in looking at the top ranked web pages and their backlink profiles in the organic search section, we could identify that most of the top ranked competitors across most search queries that we analyze would have significant relevance in their backlink profile. But when looking at it, significant topical relevance, but when looking at the top ranked GBPs and the websites associated with them, a lot of times analyzing those backlink profiles didn't show topically relevant links. And so, and by the way, just to be clear, you should be aware that there's not usually a correlation between the top-ranked maps competitors or companies ranking at the top of map search and those ranking in organic. There's usually big discrepancies. Sometimes you'll see like a company that's not only ranking well in maps, but also well in organic, but it's usually very different results. And so in analyzing both sets of data, right, organic search and map search, we could look at the backlink profiles and I could see patterns very easily in the top-ranked organic web pages that we were analyzing. But for maps, it was very difficult to identify until I had just looked at it enough. And that is what I'm about to show you now, which is after looking at that data for the top ranked maps competitors backlink profile information, eventually it dawned on me, it finally broke through to me where there was a pattern, although a bit kind of, obscure. It was finding the top ranked web pages or companies in map search, and looking at their backlink profile, we could start to identify that they had local links coming to them, meaning links with geographic relevance, because there were links coming from other sources that were nearby, right, in close proximity to where the business is located. So, and here's an example of that. You can see like and this just a some random sample, but like that's the Katy, I think Texas or whatever, Chamber of Commerce. Here's another Chamber of Commerce, another Chamber of Commerce. This is a local municipal site for like a county government. Again, another county government or city government perhaps. There's another Chamber of Commerce. Here's a local newspaper link, right? So I'm just kind of showing you that here's again, another, what looks like, that's a wrestling club. So this is Northern Virginia Wrestling Club that had a link to one of the sites or campaigns that I was looking at. So I'm just showing you that like here's a pool, like a local pool, swimming pool that has a link back to a tree service company. And so what I'm saying is if you look at the backlink profiles in the top ranked competitors or pages in organic search, what you typically are going to see is very relevant link profiles as far as topical relevance. But when looking at maps ranking, the top maps ranking components, what we see is either a high number of locally relevant links or a few very strong locally relevant links. Okay, it's going to be one or the other or a combination of both. So with that said, we started building both links with topical relevance, which we started off doing that, but then we also started being able to, we developed a way to be able to build links with geographic relevance at scale for our white label clients. And so what we do is we go down and we go hunt down expired domains that already have locally relevant links pointing to them from other local sources. And if we then can determine that the backlinks are relevant, valid, et cetera, then we will buy that domain and repopulate it with content similar to whatever the topical category of that site was previously. And then once we get that site indexed, then we will go in and just insert a block quote into one of the random posts that just says, hey, the team at our blog would like to thank this company, and it states the name. If you would like products or services in this area, contact this company. We put an NAP, so name, address, phone number, website, a Google Map embed, and an anchor text link. So it acts as a citation on a blog that has locally relevant content that already has locally relevant backlinks pointing to it. And so that's how we're able to influence maps ranking as well as organic search performance, which then influences AI search performance. And I want to show you some examples of this. Okay, so this is just an example. One of my clients that's in the San Francisco Bay Area. And so you can see again here, like you can see, look at the number of backlinks or the average number of links to these ranking pages in organic search. And then you can see the number of links that are pointing to his page, which are 74. So it's about, about 1/3 the amount of links as the other top ranked competitors, and yet he's performing really well. And so, and if we go look at the AI search report, the AI SEO report here, you can see that he has 83% visibility, or this company has 83% visibility. And if we just look at the matrix here, you can see, look at this, they've got incredible brand coverage in AI search because it's, again, a very strong link profile with a lot of relevance, okay? And just to kind of show you what this looks like, if we look at the organic rank tracker, you can see what happens when you build links with proper relevance. Over time, it increases steadily, and we can see that here, right? We can see these, look at these, I mean, these are competitive terms, okay? And look at the maps of the local finder rank. Remember, organic ranking is only important because it influences, right now, in my opinion, because it influences AI search performance, okay? Other than that, it's not really, in my opinion, it's not really worth focusing on organic search performance, but because it influences AI search performance, I think it's critical and necessary, okay? But take a look over here at the local finder. Now, just to show you, if we go take a look at the local search grid, remember, the vast majority of leads that are gonna come through Google search are gonna come from maps, not organic. So it's great to see that the AI search performance in this case is returning the company name, the brand name, right? So if we look at the prompt results, Boom Cycle Digital Marketing is showing up in all, a lot of these prompts, search, the results from these search prompts, okay? But then if we go take a look at the maps ranking, you can see, again, looking at the last 6 months or so, you can see that this campaign has kind of improved considerably. And just to show you something, this looks like there was a little bit of a ranking drop, but that's not a ranking drop at all. What happened here was I increased the area that the local search grid is covering. I doubled it, okay? So just to be clear, and that's what I'm gonna show you, if we look at the 6th of December, we can see that this was where the outside edge of this kind of, map area or whatever is just barely touching Castro Valley or whatever down here around this area. And then we go to 14th of December, and you can see it's now hanging out over top the water. So and just to prove it, here is the actual settings where I increased it from 1 mile to 2 miles. So it's not that this actually dropped. It's what happened is I doubled the area. And just to prove that again, look at where this map area is, right? And then if we go look at this one, the map area is twice as big. Do you see that? So what we're looking at here, and take a look at how well this campaign is performing across a very large area. This is an 11 by 11 grid with 2 mile spacing between nodes. And these are competitive terms. Look at the backlink profile information for the top ranked competitors for the search query. You can see there's, this is a competitive local, this is a competitive market for SEO. Of course it is. It's a web design and digital marketing company, so you would expect this to be competitive. And yet, look how well this is performing in AI search as well as in map search, as I was showing you here, across a large area, because we built links with relevance, okay? So to kind of show that, here's an example. This is where we show that the top-ranked competitor pages, and as well as the target page, these are the topical categories Google identified on these pages, which is then listed over here, right? We always list the data that we found on each page right here, okay? So each page has its own kind of set or each search query has its own set of natural language categories that Google identified on the top ranked pages, okay? Then we match up Majestic's topical trust flow categories so that when we are building links, we can build links with topical relevance and also geographic relevance. The topical trust flow doesn't influence geographic relevance, but it does for topical relevance, which influences AI search performance, okay? So an example of this is I want to show you, since we've got the listings or the appropriate categories here according to Google, and then we know which topical categories we should be building links from or getting links from, if that makes sense, then we can go take a look at how relevant are the links that we are building, okay? So here's the target URL or the target domain. That's what it says, domain. So any link that has a link referring page that has a link pointing to somewhere on this domain, we can then analyze how relevant are these links, right? And so we can see that there's page level relevance, meaning each one of these referring pages that has a link pointing to somewhere on this site, whatever topical categories were identified on the referring page, there's also those same topical categories were identified on what it is linking to. So there's a relevance match at the page level. Then we have a relevance match at the domain level, because each one of these referring domains, the overall topical themes of the domains in their entirety, are relevant and have relevance matching to the same categories that were identified on the site that we're linking to. So you can see that what we're looking at here is relevance matching at multiple levels, okay? So here's an example very quickly. If I just grab this URL and we go take a look at this URL in Majestic, then you can see that why. If we just look at the whole root domain, this link is business marketing and advertising and computers. There's some mixed in there, and that's always going to happen, and that makes it look natural anyways. It's not a particularly strong domain, but it's relevant, and that's what matters. It's the relevance that matters more than the strength, okay? Now, if you can get relevance and strength, of course, that's best. But I'd rather have a weaker relevant link than a stronger non-relevant link. And so I'm just trying to show you guys that relevance really, really matters for two reasons. Again, topical relevance influences organic search performance, and now more than ever, AI search performance, where geographic links or links with local relevance influence maps ranking performance. And so it's critically important to understand why we go through the process at Semantic Links that we do with doing these competitive link analysis reports, because this gives us all of the data needed to make proper decisions about what the campaign needs so that we can influence search performance both in Google and AI. So this is Bradley Benner with Semantic Links, and this is why relevance matters. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.